7, 5, 4, 3.
What up, everybody? We're live at Northwest Stadium. The first time in a long time, Commanders took an L. This one hurts. Every dude in that locker room said it hurts. They said it hurts because they they had a very real opportunity to win this thing. You're up 10 in the third quarter, going to lose by a single point. Big man, they gave this thing away. It wasn't like one thing that led to it. It was just a series of poor mistakes, little things. Jaden Daniels said it really well at the end of his press conference. He said, yeah, the little things all add up. And that was the result tonight.
It's the first time we've seen a sloppy game, really, from this team since week one in Tampa. And it started with the punt returns. It continued with the coverage in the secondary, and finalized itself, with the D-line finally, with the Pittsburgh D-line finally starting to make some plays, some veteran drops. And quite frankly, I'm going to give a immediate GOAT.
I got goats.
We got lots of them, but Zach Ertz has been in this league for far too long to not present himself beyond the line of script, beyond the first down.
I think the refs also messed up the spot.
I think the refs gave him a bad spot, but he gave them an opportunity to give him a bad spot by not getting there. And if you look at the camera angles, it certainly looks at the camera angles like he got over there, but there was nothing definitive that said that he did. And so because he didn't establish himself beyond the first down marker, he gave the refs that opportunity, and it's a real problem.
I mean, that and Ertz had the drop prior to that. So, I mean, sure, I don't want to get too far into goats before we discuss everything.
It's just so frustrating because
it's a frustrating
this has been
they played good, clean, smart football all year and did not today.
And it's been a veteran-led team, and the veterans have done a really good job of setting an example and doing the right things. We've seen it with Austin Eckler, who I thought gave an incredible effort today, having to fill in for B-Rob again on the side of his neck. Yeah. Bobby Wagner has been all over the field, and Zach Ertz has been very good for this team. That final play was a big miss from him.
Yeah, I mean, I think the drop's a bigger miss than that. I think it's really easy to conceptualize, like, oh, you've got to run that past the sticks and all this thing. But there's a million moving parts and a defender on the other side. Yes, he's got to do it. To me, the drop is a bigger issue.
The drop was bad, yes.
This is just a real problematic, kind of loss. You're fine. I think you don't want to big picture it too much, right? Because they're back on the field Thursday night against the Eagles, and they were right in this thing. I think the freshness of Pittsburgh's legs, I think it was a really rough game for Washington to have a ton of injury trouble on the offensive line. Like, this is just a bad matchup to have your O-line dinged up. And there's never a good time. I'm not suggesting that, but it was a bad time for
This is two straight games. The two games that B-Rob has missed, the one against Baltimore and then this one. Obviously, you lose your starting running back, and it's going to affect your, end of game numbers as you look at them.
Yeah.
But the rushing effectiveness in those two games was almost non-existent, and Eckler, found some holes here and there, but I think he ended up with 44 yards and three yards a pop. The first half, it's the same old story.
17 points. They were averaging 3.5 yards.
That's what I was going to say.
But
it's the same old story where you look at them in the first half, and it doesn't feel like they're moving the ball particularly effectively.
Right.
And then you look up at halftime, and they're up 17-14.
Yeah, I mean, and they're really good in end of half situations. They were able to get that touchdown just before halftime, and then they're able to come out. They scored like 2 minutes in. It is worth discussing. Like, it is. I think
you're gonna big picture it.
No, I'm gonna break down the curtain a little. I think we got to move our set further out so then people can get past it, so we don't have people constantly
behind
us. Yeah, because everybody likes to ask if they can walk past us. It's fine. This is a literal nail biter against one of the best teams in football, an organization that does it right. Tomlin's record coming out of the bye speaks for itself. Like, there's just so many things that it's a huge step that nobody, after the Ravens game, people wanted to have the moral victory conversation. Nobody's interested in it today.
No, because
this team should have won the game.
And this team is no longer in a world of moral victories.
Right.
We're in a world of thinking about big picture things and what's going to happen. And, as much as this game is disappointing and you would have loved to come out of here considering all the injuries and everything else you dealt with, and you were up, you got the fumble right here at the goal line. Who was that?
It was Quan
Martin making the play. I mean, that was big time. And to have the ball up 5 to be up double digits in the third quarter,
touchdown right there, by the fake punt early on.
But they also gave up they gifted the Steelers a touchdown with the Zacchaeus punt. So I think it was even on the gifts.
It's a I mean, a legit nail biter. We do want to thank the good folks, MGM National Harbor. That's our favorite place to be in the DMV. We should go there right now.
I could use a drink from there. Right.
It's about to start raining.
It feels like a bourbon type of night after that. We would have had a bourbon pod in the past.
Yeah.
But you know what? November 21st.
Yeah,
we will
we'll be there.
at MGM National Harbor. We'll be taping the show live there. We'll take some fan questions. We'll be at Tap Sports. We'll be at Tap Sports Bar, also in the sports book. Come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think with this ball game specifically, it was a nail biter. It was down to the wire. They had multiple situations. You jump off sides at the end. It's just a tough play for a rookie that's having a good season.
Veteran QB greater than rookie.
Right. Russ wasn't very good until the very end when he was great. The deep throw. All right, we got the right score there. I was wondering what the heck was going on earlier.
I mean, listen, you talk about the Commanders' offense not, being particularly effective without B-Rob. It didn't feel like the Steelers' offense was doing much, and then all of a sudden you look up and Russ has 3 passing touchdowns, and he throws those dang moon balls, and that was just a perfect throw.
St. Juice gets no bump off the line of scrimmage. He's just trailing the whole time.
Not only that,
on
he
Mike
has
Williams.
his feet. Well, I guess I can't do this too much, but he has his feet on the first down line, and he's stagnant. And Mike gives him a little move and goes by him, and then he's got to get his feet moving again.
He's such a nice guy, and he works hard. It's just not there, and they desperately need Marshawn Lattimore. The rain's coming now. What's the game plan here?
We got umbrellas. We're gonna make it through. Are you concerned?
I am thrilled. I think thrilled, excited. Those are all the words I would use to describe.
Are you the Wicked Witch of the West? You're going to melt in a little bit of rain?
Nope.
But, yep, here it comes.
It's just going to rain.
It's just going to rain.
It was going to rain, and it's raining. I think, do you want to get into Game Balls and Goats?
Yeah, let's get into Game Balls and Goats, brought to you by...
I mean, there's only so much discussion to be had, right? Like, they gave this thing away. I don't know that we can handle 2. I think maybe we just try to live under 1.
We'll live under 1. I got you. We're good friends here. We've done this before.
This is something.
We're good. Game Balls and Goats brought to you by Oarsman Automotive of Virginia.
Hold on. Let's real quick before we go to that. Let's have a Jaden conversation. You're hogging the umbrella. You must be bad with the covers. Let's have a Jaden conversation because he wasn't. This was his worst game. And worst is a tough word choice, perhaps.
Yeah.
The offense has been so crisp and so efficient, and it just wasn't there tonight. They were not crisp. They were not efficient. And I think for Jaden, he just seemed a little off. I think the Steelers' pass rush was so significant that it made a real impact. You're good, Lou.
I think part of the problem also was all the drops and everything that happened there. I mean, he wasn't perfect, but
the drops didn't help.
The drops didn't help because it wasn't just...
Is this one bigger?
Yeah.
We go, God bless America. Look at the size of this.
It wasn't just the Zach Ertz drop. There were other drops in that game, and Terry makes an incredible play coming out of halftime.
Terry was great.
Terry was great today, and he makes an incredible play coming out of halftime, and is able to kind of kickstart this offense.
Sure.
The first points the Steelers had given up in the third quarter of the season, I thought it was impressive to watch them be able to come out of halftime and do that, because that's been one of the bugaboos for Cliff in this offense was that third quarter, and to get that quick score, and I think they had another field goal in the third quarter was good.
Yeah, but it should have been a touchdown.
It should have been.
The red zone problems continue to persist. Jaden in this thing was 17 of 34 for 202 passing yards, sacked 3 times. He got nothing on the ground. Coming into this game, Jaden was averaging 50 yards a game on the ground, had 5 yards rushing at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge chunk of offense that just didn't exist. Their run game just never got going against these 2 better defenses when they went against Baltimore's run D and now against Pittsburgh's run D. Just nothing happening here. Maybe we go wide shot and we each hold an umbrella.
Fine. Do you think the issues with the run game are Brian Robinson specific, or do you think they are based on O-line and defenses and all the different things we're seeing?
I think they had a lot of trouble on the interior in this thing because Biotish was so beat up. Yeah. I think he was really hurt. I don't know. Honestly,
he gutted that thing out pretty well.
I wonder if at some point you're better off having Dieter out there. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Let's do a little bit of TV here, JP, just because we're doing it. Tilt this back a touch.
If we were doing TV, we should be inside.
There you go. That's okay. Right. Well, we are doing TV, and we're not inside, so you'll be okay.
So my point stands.
We were trying to figure out what we were going to do.
What is your word to describe Jaden?
Meh.
Yeah.
I thought he was okay today. I'm not ready. I don't think he was bad. but I don't think he certainly wasn't good. I think he was kind of somewhere in the middle here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a testament to how good he's been kind of throughout that today he wasn't bad. He didn't turn the ball over. You know, like if you look at what bad quarterbacking is, he was far from that.
Yes.
But
Russ
he
was
has set
bad.
the bar so high.
Russ was bad in the first half.
And still had a passing touchdown, but yeah.
Sure, he had a passing touchdown, but they weren't moving the ball. Other than that one drive when they scored with the gift from Zacchaeus,
Sure.
they didn't do a whole lot.
How much of Jaden being was Pittsburgh?
Right. Well, that's what's tough to know.
Queen's really good. Fitzpatrick's really good. I mean,
what I was going to say when we got to game balls and guts, I was going to talk about it, but Patrick Queen as a quarterback spy was great. I mean, he had the speed to keep up with Jaden on the edges. You saw Jaden a couple times try and make the turn, and wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, really impressive.
I mean, that guy is really good, and he's the first QB spy that we've seen on Jaden that was able to really effectively do that.
Totally. We'll run through my notes quick before we get to the game balls and stuff. I just thought it was I found myself in the press box actually biting my nails. Like it was a literal nail biter of a game.
It was a fantastic football game.
No, it wasn't. There was never enough flow. Like there wasn't, and it wasn't all good defense. There were drops and mistakes. The quarterbacking wasn't a fantastic football game. It went down to the wire for sure. It was a nail biter.
I thought it was a good football game.
Yeah, but you said that both quarterbacks were kind of meh and bad.
Right. When you have listen, there were some drops. I'm not saying there weren't, but when you have drops and you have mistakes
that's
happen,
hard to call that a fantastic football game. And I'm not saying that like only games are good when it's 70 to 63 or something.
What, only the Bengals game was good?
No, but this wasn't well played necessarily by either team.
I thought it was chippy, and I thought there was a lot of extra.
How about George Pickens just attacking Mikey Sainristil?
That was
wild.
Nuts.
I asked Sainristil about that after the game. He's like, man, that's just football. These guys flip a switch out there and then unflip it. That first touchdown drive, St. Juice gets called for a PI. Then they have a roughing call that I think was really pretty suspect. But on that roughing call, I don't know if you saw this, St. Juice popped up because it was an incompletion, and he just immediately
started looking around. Right? How funny was that?
The Danny Smith fake punt right here that gives Washington their first touchdown. That's a ballsy call. And
you think that was a call in the playbook, or you think they got out there and saw
so the
nobody
gunner came in for punt block, and then they immediately go to throw it to where the gunner should have been. And at 42, James Pierre just makes a play. That's a big gainer.
You remember James Pierre?
Yeah, he was here for a cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee and training camp.
He played a lot. Like he
was one-on-one with Noah Brown almost all day over there.
That thing.
Whoa.
You almost took
Sorry,
me out.
Bud.
The size of your
umbrella. I feel like Mary Poppins here doing some things.
I think, people are like, oh, Danny Smith not respecting this team. I think they checked into it because the gunner came in on pump block.
Because of the situation, absolutely.
Special teams mattered all day. They wasted a lot of good opportunities. Eckler gives them a 50-yard kick return in the second half.
Eckler's been really good.
No points off that. There was just time after time after time. A lot of it you do have to credit Pittsburgh, I think. I mean, that defense is just so physical.
But as physical as the defense was, on the edges, you didn't have Andrew Wiley. You didn't have Cornelius Lucas.
You had Wiley.
You had Wiley as a emergency.
Right.
Trent Scott started. How about that? And played. Did Wiley play at all? No, it was all Trent Scott.
It was all Trent Scott all day?
It was all Trent Scott.
And then Dieter ends up coming in, for at least a portion of plays.
There was a lot of beat-up guys there that were in trouble.
Yeah, this O-line is...
switching umbrellas mid-show. All right.
I think this is our third mid-show umbrella switch.
It is.
Which has got to be some sort of record. I don't know
we've had as many changes as they had in the offensive line. We've had changes in umbrellas here.
It's interesting because I know it's one of our over-unders, so we'll have to get to it. But Watt didn't impact this game that much until the end. And I know stat sheet you're going to win it, but holy moly, they call him the closer. Like that's the thing.
The hit that he put on Jaden right here, the back of the end zone.
I thought he was cooked.
I thought because it was right on that same rib that he got hurt earlier.
That was, and Jaden said afterwards, it still hurts. It's still a thing.
Yeah, I didn't love hearing that.
No, but dude, that injury, I've talked to enough people. That injury, the only thing is rest and time, and he's not going to get the rest or the time.
Did you catch what Nick Sirianni went through with Jalen Hurts with the ankle injury at the podium.
It wasn't on the injury report, though, right?
Right. So they said it was rest, and they asked him about it, and Sirianni's like, oh, I think it's his ankle that we're trying to rest. And then
Sometimes coaches mess that
right,
up,
but then
too.
the PR guy came. I was like, no, it's rest. He's like, yeah, it's a rest.
Sure.
One of those. So,
Right.
On the short week, the Eagles are playing right now. Who knows what that thing's going to look like? The rain is stopping. How
There
about
we
them
go.
apples? We're going to give it a shot. It's a light drizzle. It's not bad.
I can do game balls now if you want.
Okay. You want to do the Oarsman read?
Sure. Game Balls Goats brought to you by Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Want you to do the exact same thing. 7 stores all over Northern Virginia. Game Balls, I think Terry definitely deserved one.
Absolutely.
I think he was one skill possession player that didn't have a drop. I think Eckler deserves one.
I think Brandon Coleman and Trent Scott both deserve them.
Sure.
I mean, they weren't perfect.
Yeah.
But they gave you way more than I think you expected to get from them.
Totally. Highsmith goes down, probably helps. You hope he's okay.
That was
ankle
at the
looks-
very end of the game.
I thought it was like third quarter, but yeah.
I think it was fourth quarter, no?
I
Either
don't
way.
know.
Yes,
I
you're
tend
right.
to agree.
Yes.
It was definitely second half.
Yeah.
But with Watt and Highsmith, those guys had just a huge.
Well, it's a good thing they traded. If I was a Steelers fan, glad they traded for Preston Smith.
For sure.
That timing worked out quite nicely.
Jeremy Chin continues to be really impressive.
Quan Martin.
Yeah.
Both the Quan and Jeremy Chin had a bunch of big hits again.
Yeah.
But
He also had the pick.
he had the pick, but the fumble right here at the goal line.
Sure. That was
massive.
I think Quan on that. Dante Fowler continues. He's now at 8.5 sacks through 10 games.
Unbelievable.
Had 2 today. Just really been impressive. I saw a lady hold. You know the size of the beers they sell here. They're
They're good for my hands.
They're good for your hands.
Yeah.
I saw a lady couldn't be more than 5'4", wearing a Deshaun Jackson jersey, holding 2 of those beers in one
Deshaun
hand.
Jackson Commanders or
Commanders.
Eagles? All right, that's good.
I guess Redskins.
Well, yeah.
She
They
had
don't
2 beers in one hand, and she was 5'5" at the tallest. That game ball to that lady. I hope someone in her life listens and can tell her that she got that. John Keim covered his 500th
Dang, that was my
game.
baby smile.
All right, well, pretend I never said it.
No, it's okay. I got another one.
We haven't told the whole story. So
Okay, there's more to it, I guess.
LeVar,
Guys covered the team for a long time. LeVar being here.
LeVar Arrington being here.
Did I say it to you before you tweeted it out when you said it? But I thought LeVar being here showed how far this organization has come, because there have been a ton of Commanders, Redskins players who didn't like Dan Snyder but didn't say a whole lot. LeVar was loud about it, and he was very loud about not wanting to come back and not being around here. And for him to be here today, I thought says a lot about where this organization has come from.
For sure. It's night and day. Today was salute to service. There were a ton of kind of military people getting sworn into the Navy. It's a very cool day, and they wanted to see if LeVar would be a part of that.
That was very cool.
It was cool. I got to interview LeVar Arrington. He cut a little bit of a wrestling promo.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? I think he's at this place where oh boy, there's a cart just drove off and
ladder fell off.
The ladder got stuck in between, and I thought the cart was going over. That could have been ugly.
Never a dull moment on this live stream here on Monumental Plus on the app. What's it called?
Monumental Plus. You
Monumental
got it.
Plus.
Monumental Sports Network.
I looked at my mic flag. Tipped me off.
It's right there. You can't miss it.
But tomorrow I'm on the Altcast. What is that on?
That's on Monumental 2 on TV. And it's actually also on the app and on the website as well. So everywhere you're watching us now, you can watch JP tomorrow on the Altcast.
Are you rainy or sweaty?
Rainy. It was the new umbrella that we gave was dripping off right under the top of my head, which is why I decided to
Bill screwed you because
I had the
big American flag
one.
You were good.
Yes, I was good, and now I'm a little drippy, but.
In my defense for not wanting to get rained on, I had to keep these clothes on.
I'm aware.
Work a very long time.
Yes, this is going to end, and whenever we finish,
you're taking all this sweat stuff off.
I'm going to be.
I specifically wrote this down, wanted to address it. It was Terry got tackled at like the 1 foot line, but he put that little hesitation move on in between the 2 defenders. It looked like he was going to spin back. That was just so cool. It was like a basketball move that you don't really see.
He's been such a star. I mean, he deserves everything that he's getting this year. Finally having a quarterback that's able to throw to him, but it's been great.
Goats. Unless you have other game balls.
No, we can start with Goats.
I'm seeing if I have anything else written down. The lady with the 2 beers.
Liam and
Luvu, Frankie Luvu.
Liam and Mike, who we ran into pregame. They're from, I believe, San Antonio,
if
I'm not mistaken, and they are Redskins Commanders fans, and we were laughing about
nice family.
They're a very nice family, laughing that it's only fitting that Texas natives are Redskins fans, because it feels like all the Cowboys fans are from here. So you knew
shout
they
out-
couldn't be Cowboys fans because
Right.
they're from Dallas or Texas.
What?
They're from Texas.
Gotcha. I thought you just said it in Spanish. Said Tejas or something.
Tejas, yes.
With the umbrellas, we're just going to leak on each other, so we can't get closer. I think
I might not be very good with the umbrellas, is what I think I've decided.
you might not be good at umbrellaing.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause
think
that's
I'm a very-
kind of why I bailed on us being in it together, because you weren't. Like, you got to try to. I
You
understand.
know, I'm somebody
we're
that doesn't
trying to-
really care about.
Yeah, the elements
the
don't
elements
faze
don't
you.
bother me much,
Right.
but certainly this. Well,
That
whatever.
nice coat
We're
Stacey
happy.
got you.
Yeah, thanks, Stacey.
I
Appreciate
think
it.
We went out to Jeff Walker's pregame tailgate.
Yes, that
he
was cool.
DJing. Shout out to the lady that's just out there dancing.
One singular lady,
One lady
just
by herself.
partying.
All right,
But
goats.
Jeff puts on a good show, so shout out to Jeff.
Goats. Ready?
Are you just going to run through a bunch?
Fire away.
Go for it. No, you're good.
Zacchaeus.
Absolutely.
This has been a problem. It's just this is wild, dude. So I was driving in this morning and I had the pregame show on, and it was Bram talking to Jenks.
Yes,
And
I was listening to that as well.
They were talking about how well they protected the ball, and a lot of that you credit the quarterback, and they deserve it. He deserves it. Jaden's been really, really good about not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
But Bram said, he's like, they've also just had good luck. Like, they haven't even muffed a punt. Everybody muffs a punt.
Well, they
And
had.
Right,
I mean,
and they've gotten them all
right,
back.
that's the problem. He muffed 2 punts earlier. He
So
just
he
got
muffs
them
the
back.
first one, and he gets it back, and then does it again. And I understand DQ's message to get him back out there. I don't know that he caught another one. He sure seemed to just call
he was-
fire on it or
yeah.
whatever.
Which is probably the right call.
Yeah.
I mean,
But this is a goat, and this is a problem now. This is not a one-off. I don't know what the answer is, because I don't know that they can. I don't know they have someone to go to. You know what I mean?
right. I mean,
Like-
who? Eckler, maybe?
Yeah, but not with B-Rob out.
No,
not
I know.
when
I
he's
mean,
your
that's what I'm
RB1.
saying. Like,
Eckler, maybe Diami, but Diami had a bunch of drops today.
Jamison Crowder's on IR.
Crowder's on IR. You wonder when he can come back. But, dude, this is a weird reminder of, like, when they had Dax Milne, dude never muffed him.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
The first job for this punt returner is to catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a problem. This is, of all the things this year, there really haven't been problems. There's been like, that's an issue, but this is a legit problem.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
is.
think you can go forward with him. I understand in game you don't want to bench somebody.
It's troublesome.
It's
but,
troublesome. They got a game in 4 days.
Here's the thing: Tress Way is a lefty punter. The Steelers have a lefty punter. I would have thought that they've at least caught some punts from.
We've seen it throughout the season. I don't think it
right,
was lefty
it's
punter
one
specific.
thing. Sure, but it's a problem. I mean, it's something that's got to get fixed.
It's just leaving.
This rain is just dripping on me. It's awful.
Give the people what they want.
No.
The poor people that only.
That's what the whole walk-off
Listen,
is.
If you only listen to this on the podcast,
You're
you need to
missing-
make sure you get on the app or YouTube or something and watch it, because it's been
A show.
kind of disastery.
Not disastery. It's been technically clean every week. We're just fighting.
I'm not saying every week. I'm saying today specifically.
Right,
has
we're
been
fighting some elements.
A challenge.
It's, things are happening here. It's what are you supposed to do?
Ertz, between you want him running past the sticks, I wrote down for the drop. Ertz is going to land on the list. I thought George Pickens seems like an actual jerk.
He
He's
feels
on
like
the list.
he feels like a very tough guy to play against, because he's so difficult, and certainly today him with Sanders still over there was wild.
That was over the top.
Yeah, I mean, just so extra.
I thought Biotish is clearly hurt. He's an absolute warrior, but it hurt them today.
Here's my one question for you, and I don't really. Dan Quinn isn't really the coach that's going to do this, but how much of holding out Wiley and B-Rob, is there any piece of holding out Wiley and B-Rob that you think comes from the fact that it's a 4-day turnaround against the division, who probably going to be the division leader? I don't know what the Eagles score is right now, but I'm sure they're beating the Cowboys.
Yeah, but would they be the leader technically?
Aren't
Would they 2-0 in the division also?
This would make them 2-0.
Okay.
I think they were 6-2 coming into this. So
we'll find that
whatever.
out. So
Yeah.
I've gotten that question a bunch, and I think it's a fair question. And I want to be clear: I don't know the answer. Right?
Correct. None of us do.
I don't believe so, because when you sell this brotherhood
14-6
stuff all
at
the
halftime
time
for the Eagles.
like when they keep talking about the brotherhood and everything else, like if that's what your discussion is, everybody has to lay it on the line every game for each other. And
That's true.
either you can go or you can't, and it's not about the next game. So I don't believe that's the case. Now, the trainers might be like, hey, if he can get an extra day of rest,
Right,
then
he
he's
might
good
be
to go
better
for
to go.
Thursday.
Yeah.
But, like, I could see there being part of an equation that is based on, the division games in 4 days.
Yeah.
But I find it really hard to believe in the full buy-in world of that locker room. That we saw tonight. Sam Cosmi addressed the team after the game and said,
Well, Bobby Wagner addressed the team before the game, which I thought was interesting. But go ahead with Sam.
Either way, I mean, like, these guys are buying in at a really, really high level.
Yeah.
And if you've got that, I don't think you could be resting guys. Because ultimately, that's what we're saying is, they're just resting them for a game that's more important.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I don't think that's necessarily resting per se, but I do think that, there's the better part of valor, right? It's being ready for, you don't want to call it a more important game, but if you're going to be 60% for both games or 0% and 90% for the short turnaround game, I think you make that. You can make that argument.
Yeah, I think there's some strategy, some decisions that can be made.
It's just a one-off. I don't think that is the difference maker in this game, because I think the rest of the sloppy play. This is the first time that we've really seen them come out sloppy, and it's not necessarily. I don't think it's unprepared.
No,
it just was sloppy. It was mistake riddle and sloppy.
And the other guys are good, right?
Yeah.
Like when I talk to Eckler,
the other team is very good.
He's like, the other guys get paid, and they're pretty good.
You want to know one of my least favorite sayings in sports? It's that one.
What?
Well, both teams get paid.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Any other goats for you?
No, I got more.
Let's keep rolling.
3rd and 16. The pass back to Diami. That's now they've tried to run it twice.
Hasn't
it doesn't
worked
work.
either time. Yeah.
Do you really need Jaden taking a shot down the field or whatever happens there? Yeah, like, who I think's the best passer on this team? 5.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and
dude, I haven't been. I think Cliff's pretty much played the hits all year.
Yeah.
But
he's tried a couple little.
At
little
3rd and 16, maybe you need something. I don't like that.
Noah Brown, I think. I don't know about game ball, but hat tip for Noah Brown.
Sure, he was good.
He leads the NFL in pass interference yards gained, which for whatever accounts for accounts or something.
How long until that's a stat in fantasy?
Hopefully never. That would be awful.
This Darnell Washington kid, I have a note on this.
Oh.
There was so much excitement about him. His measurables are off the charts. That dude plays like he's underwater. He is slow.
He's a 300-pound tight end. I mean, it gets a lot to get that body moving.
And then St. Juice, we kind of addressed it earlier. He's got to get a goat here.
Well, I think
couldn't be nicer, but it's just
hopefully Lattimore is able to play against Philly.
Yeah.
Then you're able to go to maybe Igbenogany and Sainristil still as your 3 DBs.
Yeah.
And you're starting
Forbes
to move.
Was out there a little bit today.
Yeah. I don't know that you really want to see that much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get. I have another goat. Kind of a co-goat.
Are you going to get into the weeds
we're
here?
getting in the muck here.
All right, let's get in the muck. I like this. Because let's start with. Or go ahead.
Well, dude, everything has been so great all year.
Yeah.
Like, it really has, and you can tell the work that the new ownership has put into this place, and you've got a lot of positive momentum, right? I don't know what was going on Sunday morning, and maybe some of it is Steelers fans who showed up in droves. I mean, it was at least 50-50, and maybe more.
I was gonna get to that. It was real tough in the fourth quarter with under 2 minutes to go when the Commanders had the ball, and they're coming out of the 2-minute warning, and J.J. Watt is turning to the Commanders sideline. T.J. Watt, thank you. Turns to the Commanders sideline over here and is pumping up the crowd.
Where were the burgundy towels? We heard so much about the burgundy.
They gave them out.
People just weren't waving them?
I think there were just that many Steelers fans.
It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Now, we have seen previous games where it was more, where it was 90-10.
Right,
this wasn't 90-10, but it was easy 50-50.
I think 50-50 might be generous.
Okay, so let's be generous on that, because I'm not going to be generous about a bunch of other stuff.
Let's go.
I don't know what was going on with the traffic, but it was awful. And we get here early, right? It was bad. And there's got to be some, I don't know who needs to talk to who. There's got to be some uniformity here. Like, so you make the turn. There's a broken down car on Central Ave. Nobody can control that, right? But then you make the turn onto whatever the little road is that takes you into the stadium.
Right. Garrett A. Morgan.
They just have a lane blocked off. Just one singular, either security or police officer.
4 traffic cones in a square with a police officer standing in the middle. Nothing else.
It looked like somebody spilled
there.
a glass of milk and they set up a perimeter. Like there's 70,000 people trying to get in here. Then I do think this was the Steelers fans in the parking lot. They take up like 3 parking spots.
It was so bad.
Like,
not only
people
that,
still got to park.
They also were setting up their tents in the middle of the walkway.
It was obnoxious.
It was quite obnoxious.
Okay,
Shocking. Pennsylvania fans of their football team are obnoxious because we're going to have a lot of that
We
next
are
week.
used to them from the East Coast of Pennsylvania. We're now learning
Instead
about
of
the West
throwing
Coast.
cheesesteaks on the field, they're going to throw pierogies or
Right.
some terrible sandwich with French fries on it.
All right,
Just the worst.
Post game, here's the rest of my weeds.
The rest of your what?
The rest of we're getting in the weeds on
Oh,
this.
weeds. Okay.
They
Sorry, I
have
thought you were
done-
talking about what we got into last night.
Not me, dude. I lost my fastball. They have done a lot of great things at the stadium. But whatever's happening post-game security-wise between the tunnel and the interview room, like the security apparatus out here has grown so significant. It's like the military-industrial complex. Like, yo, you can't be closing those hallways down and trapping people in the hallway and not letting them get into the interview room.
Wait,
and if
what?
a car's coming down, you got to let people walk to the side like we've been doing for 20 years.
Which hallway are they?
Bro, so
The one behind the stadium?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's tough.
So they
Yeah.
closed the one in front of the locker room, and I understand that. That's a decision the team has made
Right.
3 or 4 years ago.
And
I get
ultimately
that.
I understand
That's where the
it.
players are coming in
Right,
and out.
right.
Like, I understand it. The back one needs to be accessible. Like, people have to be able to move. And
Come on over.
I don't. I'm not. I don't know who or how or what. But today. No, yeah,
We have a
today
very
was-
reliable security guard over here.
Today was
who is
egregiously
dropping us double birds right now as we're talking about it.
Today was somebody somewhere, probably way up high, made a bad call, and as that information trickled down, it impeded a lot of the work a lot of people needed to do. Anyway, all right,
I would like to point out for the higher ups at the
higher ups listen to
Commanders
this.
that are listening to this.
I mean this politely. Everything has gone so well
Right.
that now when something isn't, it stands out.
that was JP Finley and JP Finley only. Just want to make that clear.
Well, and dude, post game is a high pressure situation.
It
where
is.
A lot of people
We're
got
running, there's a lot of people
stuff
running
done.
around trying to get in a lot
Yeah.
of different places.
This wasn't just me. There were 40 people in the hallway stuck.
I got
somebody that would love to speak on this topic.
I
but
am
we
just
won't.
saying that I am not the one.
Because you were probably in the interview room already.
I was. Yeah, we were over by the locker room on the other side of the locker room.
If you had
Oh,
to
no, I
try
know.
to get there
Listen,
at that moment, you
I
were
would
cooked.
be. I would be in just as many frustrations. I'd be just as frustrated as you would.
Okay, let's get to the stuff.
Let's get to the stuff.
Right?
Yeah, 100 chips.
I think I lost.
Yeah, you did.
I had the Skins
It
laying
was
the
bad.
points.
So you had.
Didn't you?
So we both had Commanders minus 2.5.
Right.
Obviously, that didn't cover. Because we both did it, you took B-Rob for a touchdown. I took Olamide Zaccheaus for a touchdown. B-Rob didn't play, so we just transferred that to all 100 chips on the Commanders. You came in at
lost 100.
minus 120. You're now at minus 220.
Yeah.
I came in or you were minus 160. You're now at minus 260. I was at
we got
minus
graphics.
20 chips, and I am now down 120 chips because I had Commanders minus
Dude,
2.5.
when Zaccheaus got the little
Zaccheaus had the
screener right
screen
here,
right
I
here.
looked over to you.
I
That
got
would've
a
been
little
something.
excited. That would have been a nice little 7-1 on that
That
one.
would have been something.
Actually, I'm curious. What odds? Hey, can I ask the folks that are making the
We're back.
graphics to make sure that you give me the BetMGM lines for the give me the BetMGM lines when we make these, because I had plus 700, not plus 625 on that.
Hey man, let them know. It's a let people know
Yeah,
podcast.
all right. I guess we're just calling people out left and right, huh?
You're calling out our coworkers.
Yeah. You're calling out people that are going to control your access.
That's not an access point. It's a bottleneck. I don't know.
It was a bottleneck.
I don't know what
You're
was
right.
going on.
Over-unders, JP came in with a commanding 3-2 lead in over-unders. Today wasn't his best day.
Did I go over?
We both had Jaden over 221.5 passing yards. He had only 204. We decided on the number at 130.5 for
Way
Commanders
under.
rush yards. You predicted 132. I predicted 127.
Oh, so you get the under.
I had the under, so I'm up 1-0.
Okay.
And then finally,
what
the last
did they
one.
finish with? 60?
Oh, it was minimal. It was minimal. And I actually asked Dan Quinn afterwards about,
How was DQ? I wasn't in there for that.
when you lose your starting running back, especially B-Rob, and the way that he runs.
I almost couldn't make it in there.
I know. When you look at B-Rob and missing him, obviously anytime you lose your starting running back, it's tough. But the drop down in terms of production in the running game is something that needs to be looked at, because you can't have you can't go from averaging, you can't have 170 yards a game when he's in there and run for 80 yards a game when he's out. And I think you saw it with Jaden, and part of that I think was Patrick Queen and his ability to spy him. But I think the other half of it is there needs to be some sort of adjustment in the run game, because you can't have that big of a drop off. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, I think if we've identified our first problem is this OZ punt return situation.
Yeah.
The run game issues, kind of the red zone issues, are starting to be a little persistent.
The red zone, I think, is a real issue. The run game, I'm not ready to proclaim a problem because I do think Biadash's injury played a big part of that. Trent Scott is... Who would have thought we'd get to a point in the season that we'd be recognizing Andrew Wiley as a big loss for this offensive line? And it is. And it's not saying anything to Trent Scott specifically, but Wiley's played well this year, and, Trent Scott doesn't quite play at the same level as him.
Yeah. So what was the last one?
Last one was TJ Watt.
I had him getting a sack. He didn't.
We set the number at 0.75.
Right.
You went over, I went under. He had, I believe, 0 stats on the game. He had 1 QB hit, which was the big one we talked about back here.
Serious hit, yeah.
Which was a pretty serious hit.
So, I won
what's
2-0
funny
is
this
I
week.
think the Steelers D-line, like Jaden talked about him in postgame, about how much they impacted the game.
Oh, they
I don't
absolutely
think
did.
statistically it's going to show up, but it's a tough group for
That's
sure.
also a D-line that puts up a lot of stats.
Right.
Like they're a team that does
Right.
that.
I mean, Watt in the last time Pittsburgh played, one more GOAT to the NFL for giving Washington 2 teams coming off a bye in 3 weeks.
However, you have the Eagles playing a 4 p.m. game in Dallas.
That's not the same.
How many times have
but you're talking about
Redskins,
3
Washington
hours.
Football Commanders fans complained about having to play that same situation?
3 hours.
It's
It
still
doesn't
a
compare to getting 2 teams coming off bye in 3 weeks.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I agree. But I do think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Benji bet, I had 27-16. I thought they were going to win by 11.
You had the point?
Avocado toast me. Someone pop up that
I
avocado
actually
there.
had avocado toast yesterday. My wife made me a piece of
Do
avocado
you want to take
toast.
it for
0 poached eggs, but avocado toast.
Hopefully one of these days for you.
One of these days.
29. You had 29-22 as a final score. Obviously 28-27 final.
That might have been the first score they had up there when we came up though on the
28,
stream.
22, 28-22.
Was that last week's?
You're really calling. No, it's 27-22 last week. You're really on this calling out our coworkers thing, huh?
No, you started that.
Well,
That
then
wasn't me.
you're piling on now.
Why would if you put the umbrella back up?
Because I have
now
to
that
read,
it's just raining.
Because
why
I
are you
have to
bailing
read
on
the
it?
Dominion National "What Makes You Smile" read
Okay.
that I have right here on my handy telephone. If that's okay.
Sure. Here.
Dominion National "What Makes You Smile" is brought to you by Dominion National. Visit them at
Teethkeepers.com.
teethkeepers.com.
Didn't they specifically ask us to stop singing?
No, you say this every week and you just made that up completely. Visit them at teethkeepers.com where they provide high-value dental and vision benefits for individuals. Enroll today and save at teethkeepers.com.
All right, big man's getting his umbrella back.
All right, what made you smile, JP?
You go first. You got one, right?
Yeah. Today, the Commanders PR did a great job of celebrating our good friend
Very cool
John
moment.
Keim. Shout out to Resh Manuel, who I guess did the math on how many games.
That's crazy.
He had covered. I mean, that dude is a great Twitter follow and will find you any connection
He's got
of
nuggets.
any players.
Yeah.
He's got nuggets. 500 games for John Keim covering this team. He's been through a lot. They put up a graphic on the scoreboard. They surprised him with his family and a jersey in the press box. Very cool to see. There have
Classy
been a lot
moment.
of people who have been around for a while, and for John to be recognized was awesome.
Also, they kind of started being bad when John started covering them. He started in 94.
94.
Dude, how many winning seasons do you think he's covered?
10, 5, 7?
I think it's below. Dude,
7?
99?
Yeah.
Gibbs had 2 winning seasons in 4 years, so like 05 and 07, whatever that was.
Yeah.
12.
Well, Zorn was 8.
15.
Zorn was 8 and 8.
I'm not counting those. I'm saying
All right.
winning seasons.
12, 15,
Even Ron's title was 7
7
and 9.
and 9. Yeah. Not many. So I went through and I did the math on how many games I had covered.
How many is
And
it?
I'm at 332, which
Wow.
feels like a million games. And I started figuring out how long it would take me to get to 500. So another 10 years.
I mean, it's 30 years, dude.
Yeah, that's a long time.
It's
It's a long time.
For me, I loved the energy in here pregame, walking around the field. It had big game energy, and you had 2 first place teams.
Yeah.
It was cool, and I think that you'll probably get that same energy Thursday night. I'm gonna call my shot real quick. They're gonna win Thursday night. I have that feeling.
I agree.
All right, we done? Get out of the rain.
Yeah, I think it's time to get out of the rain. We did a good job here.
If you're listening to this, go back and watch this because
There's a
it was
lot
challenge.
happening. Yeah. And if you're watching this or listening to it,
Are we doing one of these Thursday?
we are doing well. Let's see what the numbers are, and we'll figure it out. But yes, no, we'll be on live after the Eagles game, 12:15. hopefully breaking down a big division win where they take the lead back in the NFC East. And then don't forget,
yeah, that'll be fun. The pod party.
The 21st, we're having a legit
at the
pod
sports
party.
book, right?
We're going to do the show at the sports book, but I might sneak over and grab a couple giant beers from Tap because
They can probably bring you giant beers to the sports book.
Listen, when they have the ones that are
Steph running everything.
That's he's running the sports book. That's right.
Right.
Former coworker.
Hey,
yeah.
Stefan, we're gonna need some big beers.
Some big beers. We're gonna have a lot of fun that night.
Are
Come
we able
join
to
us.
drink during the TV show portion? I say yes.
I'm gonna say yes, but I don't really know the answer, and I'll find out.
We've probably made so many people so happy during the stream tonight that they might be saying no.
What could go wrong? This is why you don't. This is
Where's
why
the chat?
You don't take shots at the police. You don't take shots at the higher ups here. You don't take shots at our coworkers.
Yeah, you got to be who you are, man.
I guess if we're being salty about having to do this thing out in the rain, then so be it. But
no, I'm not salty. We're good.
A little salty.
We're done.
All right, we're done.
The pod party will be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that. 21st in the sports book, and you get to ask questions. We're going to put people on TV, right? Isn't that the plan?
We're going to put some people on TV. We will also do some old school off the records.
Ooh, juicy.
So get your questions ready for JP. He's going to answer.
What's pod schedule this week's going to be funky because
I think it's pretty straightforward. Tuesday we'll do a pod. Thursday we'll have the post game show after the Eagles. It might be a little bit of a slow weekend. We'll probably put one out on Monday or so. The next time we get the chance to talk to
DQ won't
Dan
talk
Quinn
till Monday. Yeah.
Right. So he'll talk on Monday. So we'll probably do it then. But we can talk about that all after the Eagles game.
All right, we got to go. Stay dry. You made it this far. I owe you a beer. You can get it on the 21st.